Before you dive into this revelation, know this. You didn't find this video. It was spiritual destiny that brought you here. If your spirit recognizes this word as truth, it is because you are already on the threshold of a divine explosion. Subscribe now to the Chosen Signal channel, turn on all notifications, and share this message with those who also feel they carry a hidden mission. The time of silence is about to end. The time to rise is near. There is no such thing as chance in the lives of those who were chosen before the foundation of the world. Every step you take, even the most painful ones, even the ones that seemed wrong, were orchestrated to bring you to this very moment. There is a reason your heart burns when you hear these words. You have always known, even if silently, that there was something greater waiting for you. You carried, deep within your spirit, the intuition that you were set apart for a work that the world has not yet seen. And now, the heavenly clock is marking the time of activation. You're not hearing this message by accident. You have been guided, drawn, summoned, because the season of manifestation has arrived. Since childhood, you have carried a sense of difference, a sense of dislocation, as if you were present in the world, but not entirely of it. This feeling was not inadequacy, it was divine separation. You were sealed with an invisible calling that the natural world could not comprehend. And so you faced rejections that seemed unfair, loneliness that seemed inexplicable, internal struggles that seemed disproportionate, but it was all part of the plan. The mark on you was not meant to isolate you. It was meant to preserve you, to keep you from being corrupted by environments that could not bear the weight of what you carry. And now, that mark is beginning to shine with renewed strength. The wounds you have accumulated along your journey were not punishments. They were spiritual laboratories. Each rejection was a shield. Each betrayal was a vaccine against illusions. Each abandonment was a preparation for greatness. You were not broken to be discarded. You were broken to be rebuilt stronger. Your soul was honed in silence, in abandonment, in misunderstanding. Not as punishment, but as sculpture. You are a living work of art, sculpted by the Creator's own hand. Your every scar is a spiritual medal, each tear a seed of glory. And now all the pain begins to align with the purpose for which you were forged. If today you feel that you carry a strength that not even you can explain, it is because it was cultivated in the arid field of pain. Your glory grew where no one saw it. Your faith was built where no one applauded. Your greatness was sown in the silent lands of lonely nights. What others called failure, God called a plantation. You were planted in dry land so that your roots would grow deep enough to support the weight of the glory that is now about to emerge. Pain was the fertilizer of your anointing. Silence was the soil of your wisdom, and the invisible that sustained you now begins to be revealed publicly as a light that can no longer be hidden. When you were rejected, forgotten, and ridiculed, it seemed as if you had been buried and disappeared. But heaven saw it differently. You were not buried, you were planted. The darkness that enveloped you was not a tomb, it was a womb, a place of preparation, not death. While it seemed like everything was over, in fact, everything was beginning. Your roots were growing deeper into spiritual territories where few have dared to tread. You became unbreakable, not because you have not faced storms, but because you have been trained to endure them. And now, the sprout that was born in the hidden is ready to break through the surface and become a tree that will shelter many. Don't think that your strength came out of nowhere. It was tempered in the fire, like iron that becomes a blade. You were tested in spiritual flames that few could withstand. Every betrayal, every abandonment, every injustice added layers of strength to your inner structure. Where the world saw weakness, God saw formation. Where others looked on and said, "This is the end," God smiled and whispered, "This is just the beginning." Your resilience is no accident. It is living evidence that you were chosen, not to be crushed, but to be cast. You were not trained to survive, you were trained to conquer. The rejection you faced wasn't because you lacked something, it was because you had too much light. In environments filled with mediocrity, your presence was unbearable. Not because you wanted to show off, but because your essence exposed the darkness. The brightness you carry is not made of human effort. It is made of divine purpose. Where others settled, you disturbed. Where others lost their way, you kept searching, and that's why you were rejected. Not because you were lesser, but because you were a sign of something greater. You need to know, your light will no longer be hidden. The time of anonymity is ending. Prepare to shine with an intensity that even you didn't know. The days when no one saw your efforts, your prayers, your sacrifices, those were the days that built your greatest spiritual crown. The faithfulness you demonstrated when there was no visible reward became a memorial before God. Every yes you said in solitude, every step you took against the system, every choice to remain pure in the midst of corruption, everything was recorded. No tear was lost, no gesture of faith was forgotten, and now what was done in secret is about to be rewarded publicly. Faithfulness is the seed of honor, and you are about to reap a harvest of heavenly honor like you never imagined. While it seemed like nothing was happening, in the silence, God was architecting the invisible. The silence was not abandonment, it was strategy. It was in the silence that you learned to listen to the subtle frequencies of the Spirit. It was in the silence that your faith matured. It was in the silence that you built a spiritual structure that cannot be broken by passing winds. The time when you walked without applause, without validation, without visibility, was the time when your roots became unshakable. Today, the spiritual world knows who you are, and now the natural world is about to recognize it too. Silence was the school of the invisible giants, and you are one of them. Because you were forged in silence, your foundation is different. Others built castles on shifting sand. You built on rock. While others sought shortcuts, you stood firm in truth. While others sought recognition, you sought depth. Now, while many will see their structures crumble, you will see yours remain standing. Not because you are perfect, but because your foundation is. God does not allow great callings to be supported by flimsy foundations. And that is why He allowed you to go through what you went through. Now you carry in your spirit the strength of those who do not bend, of those who do not back down, of those who bear the weight of glory. The storm that seemed destined to destroy you was actually the tool God used to rebuild you. You are not the same person who entered that war. You came out of it wiser, stronger, sharper. Your identity was purified, your vision was expanded, your heart was refined. Every bolt of lightning that seemed to strike you was actually an injection of invisible power. You were wounded, yes, but not destroyed. You were broken, yes, but not undone. The glory of the new that God is releasing into your life would have no room to grow in the old version of you. The storm was not your end, it was your new beginning. The scars you bear are not signs of weakness, they are invisible trophies of wars won in the spirit. Every mark on your soul, every healed wound, every memory of overcoming is a medal that heaven recognizes and honors. You are a survivor, not by chance, but by purpose. You survived because there was a mission that needed someone with your build. There was a territory that needed your resilience. Each scar tells a story, not of defeat, but of resurrection. You are a living witness that God still turns ashes into crowns. Brace yourself. The time for hiding your scars is over. Now they will be signs of the glory that rests upon you. When doors closed, when voices fell silent, when bonds were broken, you cried, thinking it was loss. But heaven smiled, knowing it was deliverance. The rejection you faced was, in fact, divine redirection. God removed those who did not have the structure to carry the weight of your mission. He closed doors that, if opened, would have delayed your purpose. He silenced voices that would try to confuse your calling. Every no you received was, in reality, a yes from heaven to something greater. And now, with spiritual eyes opened, you begin to see. Nothing was truly lost. Everything was protected. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering who you have always been. The pain, the silence, the losses have only cleared away the dust that hid your true identity. Now the revelation is clear. You are a child of the Most High, bearer of eternal promises, builder of indestructible legacies. You carry within you seeds that the world has not yet seen blossom, and every time you doubted yourself, heaven whispered, "Even though you do not see, I see who you are." This revelation will position you. It will give you the strength to walk without hesitation, because now you know you were always chosen, set apart, sent. After so much weight, so much war, so much silent struggle, God begins to release a supernatural lightness upon you. The weight of old guilt, of paralyzing fears, of emotional ties begins to dissolve. You will feel a new breath in your spirit, an ability to move forward without dragging yourself along, a spiritual speed that does not come from human effort, but from grace. The lightness will come because the healing has come. And the healing will not erase your history, it will sanctify your history. You will carry your memories not as burdens, but as banners of spiritual victories. You will run without tiring. You will fly without becoming weary, because lightness is the seal of one who has been healed by God Himself. Many have tried to erase, distort, or delay your purpose, but nothing can invalidate what heaven has already decreed. Now, like a river returning to its original course, you reconnect with your eternal mission. Everything begins to make sense. The pain, the silence, the changes. Everything was pushing you back to the path that was always yours. You will feel a new fire for what God placed in your heart when you were still a spiritual child. Forgotten visions will be restored. Old passions will be reborn, purified. Your spirit will recognize the path, and each step will be guided not by anxiety, but by an unshakable conviction. You were born for this. What God is doing in your life will be so evident that even skeptics will not be able to deny it. You will not need to justify or explain yourself. Your transformation will speak louder than any argument. The favor that will begin to surround you will be visible in open doors, in strategic connections, in opportunities that simply cannot be explained by human effort. You will become a living testimony that God's timing is perfect and that His preparation never fails. Where once they mocked your faith, now they will be silent in the face of your manifestation. Where once they underestimated you, now they will recognize you carried an ancient promise, and it has finally blossomed before everyone. You prayed for answers, but God is preparing to give you much more than you asked for. You have dreamed in human dimensions. He is releasing dreams in heavenly dimensions. What will come will be beyond what you imagined. The answers you have been waiting for will come with bonuses you didn't even know you needed. Because God is not a God of meager measure. He is a God of overwhelming abundance. And when He decides to manifest, He does beyond all we ask or imagine. Get ready. The reality you are about to experience will be so glorious that you will understand why it took so long. The wait was for the harvest to be complete. The time is now. The spiritual movement has already begun. Every whisper of hesitation, every undercurrent of fear, every doubt trying to paralyze you, all of it must be overcome now. Because whoever moves in this time will reap not only for themselves, but for generations to come. There are spiritual doors open at this moment that will not remain wide open forever. There are alignments that demand a quick response, radical obedience, unreserved faith. No more waiting for external validation. No more seeking human confirmation. Heaven has already released the command: move forward, run, obey. Because your time is not coming, it has already arrived. What God will do now will not respect human time. Processes that would take years will happen in months, weeks, days. Connections that once seemed impossible will suddenly emerge. Ideas that would take years to mature will blossom quickly, because the anointing of acceleration is being released upon the chosen ones who have endured thus far. You are not late. You are at the exact point to receive this explosion of favor, and while others will try to understand, you will simply live. Acceleration is not a reward for strength, it is a reward for endurance. You have endured where many have given up, and now the wind of the Spirit propels you to a level where human effort could never take you. Those who have scorned you in silence will now see your inevitable rise. Not because you sought the spotlight, but because the light that God has placed in you can no longer be hidden. Your story, built on tears and faith, will become a beacon for many. Prepare to be seen. Prepare to be remembered, not as someone who sought fame, but as someone who remained faithful in anonymity and, for this reason, was promoted by heaven itself. Your visibility will not be the result of self-promotion, but of divine designation. You will be placed in strategic positions, and those who tried to ignore your existence will have to recognize the hand of the Most High was and is upon you. Around you, the spiritual air will change. You will feel, and so will others, that something has changed. An unusual favor will begin to rest upon your steps. Where there was once resistance, there will be fluidity. Where there were once closed doors, there will be invitations. You will realize that you are not just walking, but being carried by an invisible wind that aligns all things. This new atmosphere is a gift to those who have borne the weight of the process in silence. You will live days when God's goodness will be so evident that even your enemies will have to testify. God's favor is real and undeniable upon your life. Do you remember the words God spoke to you in the days when no one else would listen? The dreams He gave you while you were still crying alone? The invisible impulses that seemed crazy to everyone but you? Now, all of this is beginning to be fulfilled before your eyes. Every promise, every vision, every silent word will be manifested. God has not forgotten what He promised you in secret, and now He is publicly honoring what He made with you in private. The hiding place was your cradle. Now, the stage is the platform that heaven built for your mission. The elevation that comes demands even greater vigilance. God promotes you not to inflate your ego, but to amplify your impact. You will be raised not to be served, but to serve at higher levels. Stay humble. Stay connected to Source. Don't let success steal the purity that pain has forged in you. Your greatness will be measured not by the number of achievements, but by the number of lives transformed through your faithfulness. You are called not only to shine, but to light the path for others. And the more God lifts you, the more He will entrust territories and generations to your influence. If this word has set your spirit on fire, it is because you have not been guided here by chance. Subscribe now to the Chosen Signal channel. Activate the notification bell and share this message with those who also feel the call to rise up. Leave in the comments, "My time has come, I am ready to manifest," and proclaim before the heavens that the time of silence is over. Now is the time for manifestation, advancement, and fulfillment. You are no longer waiting for open doors. You are the living key that unlocks the new cycle.